Florentino Perez is undoubtedly one of the greatest presidents in the club's history. Since becoming the new president in 2000, he has brought a lot of titles and historical value to the Spanish royal team. Prior to becoming president of a club, Perez was a construction tycoon in the country of bullfighting. So why did he turn like that? In August last year, rumors of Perez's resignation surfaced on social media. The news came as a surprise, as most Madrid fans and those working in or with the club were unaware of the rumors of the resignation, and, of course, would not have believed much of it either. Perez is 76 years old and has had some severe health challenges in recent years. There were concerns when he missed La Liga versus Osasuna in early October after testing positive for COVID-19. But that has not led to any doubts about his commitment to dedication or ability to step down as president. Nor has there been anything for him to decide to resign prematurely ahead of the El Clasico game against Barcelona on October 28th. There were a lot of journalists who came and asked the club employees about Perez's possible resignation. They all asked to remain anonymous because they felt that openly discussing Perez's leadership role could have serious consequences for their work. It's a deeper reflection of the Spanish billionaire's power. They all admit it's likely Madrid will have a new president in 10 years. But really figuring out how that would play out, who the new president might be, and how the department's structure and decision-making would evolve is difficult for many. Thinking about Madrid, Sandoval Florentino is like science fiction. It may sound quite vain, but it is not completely unfounded by what he has done for Real Madrid. More than two great words. Perez was first elected president of Madrid in 2000 with his crazy display of bringing home Barcelona's biggest star, Luis Figo. That convinced club members to vote for him. Construction tycoon Great Leader Group ACS, Spain's largest civil engineering company, with sales of $33.6 billion and profits of $668 million last year. Instantly embracing the club's total institutional fire, he opened up Galacticos 1.0 with Zidane, Ronaldo de Lima, and David Beckham, and revolutionized the club's finances by selling the old training ground and expanding its global business scope. The Madrid board during Perez's first term as president included some strong voices but also potential dissidents, including Ramón Serrón, who became president in 2006 after Perez unexpectedly resigned. Since returning to the presidency in 2009, the Perez has concentrated its power at the club. No one else on the board has more power or voice than you. None of the club's directors seriously questioned their decisions or policies, whether in public or in private. It is absolute power, said a former Real Madrid board member. He is making a mistake. When he entered the meeting room, 20 others who dared not cough for an hour could only greet Perez for tea and cake. Perez's leadership model is most often seen as general manager José Ángel Sánchez acting on his behalf, Florentino being the decider. José Andrés Sánchez's execution is a trait widely shared by those who work with the club. Such a leadership model has a severe impact on how other departments come up with good ideas or decisions. From player transfers, field entertainment, to marketing. All of that needs to be shown to the highest level of Madrid and approved to be approved. This means they are brought to President Sanchez, who will then present them to Perez. If asked, the staff will need to learn how to align the proposals with what Perez wants, as only then will it be more likely to be approved. This can be frustrating, especially when it comes to making quick decisions, whether in transfer transactions or with a new sponsor or business partner. Perez is an avid football fan, having been to Bernabeu since he was a child in the 50s of the last century. It was during the club's first golden era under President Santiago Bernabéu. Despite hearing from so many different advisors, he believes he knows more about Real Madrid players than anyone else. It is no coincidence that some people often say that Florentino is the president and sports director, and they are always the same, unlike other big clubs, Barcelona or Bayern Munich. Former players and coaches' playing experience is not to be relied upon. Los Blancos legends like Vicente de Bosque, Fernando Hierro are no exception. This puts the role of Real Madrid coaches in limbo, such as the fact that Perez never really trusted Julen Lopetegui or Rafa Benit will. And of course, their time at the team didn't last long either. Zidane won 3 Champions League titles with the White Cup. but winning those trophies kept him at the club for a long time. It can be said that Carlo Ancelotti was a particular case that gave Perez a different look. The Italian coach has very good diplomatic ability. At a time when the club is experiencing a personnel crisis, Ancelotti has improvised extremely well with the names available in the main squad. That satisfied Perez, and he decided to give him a new contract until 2026. After a recent positive test for COVID-19, Perez quickly returned to work. Attend matches and other events, which are similar stories after the surgery in Chicago in February 2016 and October 2017. He also returned immediately from lung surgery in Madrid in October 2022 to accompany Karim Benzema, the year's Ballon d'Or award ceremony winner. Various sources claim that Florentino's life is Real Madrid, that he was a workaholic, and the club was what kept him going, especially since the death of Maria, wife of the Perez president, in March 2012. Although some people at the club say he may not appear as much as before, they are sure that Perez still knows all the most important details. He regularly visits Madrid's Valdebebas training facility for breakfast and coffee with Ancelotti and Sanchez to discuss the latest developments. Inside and outside pitch, many wondered why Perez had to work so hard. He had been heavily influenced by the Santiago Bernabeu and Real Madrid presidents of the 1950s. At the time, Los Blancos were European hegemons with 5 Champions League titles, but the 65-66 championship was the club's last Champions League title. After 30 years, it was precisely 1997-1998 that Real Madrid returned to the throne again. As a passionate fan, Perez wanted to contribute something for the club to grow. That's why he ran to become president of the club in 2000. Although held in 2006, he was quickly re-elected 3 years later. Many say that during those 3 years, Perez made the best strategic plans to strengthen Real Madrid. Since winning the Champions League for the 9th time in the 2001-2002 season, more than 10 years later, in the 2013-2014 season, the White Vulture won the 10th title, completing the great cult Decima. 10 years later, in 2024, Real Madrid has 4 more Elephant Ear Cups, becoming the king of the Champions League and doubling the number of titles with second-placed club AC Milan. €1 billion Bernabeu renovation project is the culmination of Perez's plans. In fact, he first proposed in the early 2000s that increased revenue from the new ultra-modern stadium was vital to the club's financial future. The stunning building considered by some to be the Pyramid. His legacy puts him on the same pedestal as his Bernabeu predecessor. Others wondered if the financial exhaustion would affect the team's overall level. This is the first season in decades that the club's number 9 shirt has not been worn by anyone. Real Madrid's future is a much-discussed issue. No one knows if, after Perez, who will be the club president, and if they will do well. But at the same time, not too many people think about the future of the club because they are simply interested in Real Madrid. Florentino, the president.